Founders, we go over to the Kraken, who had the busiest week of the teams I'd say that we cover. So we'll go into it. February 26th versus the Boston Bruins. The Kraken beat Boston for the second time in a matter of a few weeks by a score of 4-3 in the shootout. Our player of the game, you're going to hear his name a lot. Goaltender Philip Grubauer, 29 saves, a 906 save percentage, and was perfect in all three shootout attempts for Boston, leading to this photo, our photo of the game, by Liz Wolter. February 29th versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, a 2-0 win. Our player of the game once again, goaltender Philip Grubauer, 33 saves and his third shutout as a Kraken. It was his 21st career shutout. Our photo of the game by Liz Wolter is this Alex Wennberg goal late into the third period that helped give the Kraken that 2-goal lead and helped them pull away. Philip Grubauer is our player of the game for this March 2nd loss versus the Edmonton Oilers, a 1-2 defeat. But it was a frustrating one. Seattle generated a lot offensively, as we'll talk about in a second here. But the Kraken just weren't able to convert all of those chances that they were generating. Our player of the game, as I mentioned, Philip Grubauer, 22 saves and a 917 save percentage against a tough Edmonton team that has had his number. Gruby looked good and was able to keep Seattle in that game. Our photo of the game, though, looms large as Connor McDavid, you can see in focus, and Philip Grubauer looking up at the screen out of focus. This photo of the game by Rio Giancarlo. And then the game that actually happened a few hours ago by the time that I recorded this, March 4th at the Calgary Flames, a 4-2 win. Our player of the game number one, goaltender Philip Grubauer, 35 saves, a 946 save percentage, and 1.24 goals saved above expected. Player of the game two, forward Jared McCann, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, 4 shots on goal, 1 plus-minus, and 1 hit. Before that Calgary game happened, my player of the week already was Philip Grubauer. He had a 944 save percentage over those last 4 games, including a shutout, including a being perfect in the shootout versus the Bruins. But Backlots Me had something to say about Grubauer, so we'll go to that right up.
So, I mean, given the fact that I've mentioned his name for the past 3 games, it makes sense that my player of the week is Philip Grubauer. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with Joey Daccord right now. This is just Dave Haxtell goalie management. We've talked about this the last 3 years that the Kraken have existed, which is all of them. Haxtell, when his goalie's riding hot, he goes with that goaltender. And that's going on right now with Philip Grubauer. We saw it with Joey Daccord's most recent streak, right? He just kept going after him. Was it 22 out of 25 possible games, right? So, to see Gruby get that shutout against the Penguins was great. He played well in the game against Boston, the shootout against Boston and the shutout against the Penguins. Sorry, almost lost it there. And then even in this loss to Edmonton, I really wouldn't blame Grubauer that much. I blame this game more on the loss, with the failure to convert on the chances that the team generated. It's really nice, though, to be able to see Grubauer perform so well, dealing with this injury this year, having to have Chris Driedger up, dealing with what he's dealt with throughout the course of his time here, which is just sort of the unnecessary hate comments throughout it. I get it, it's a big contract. But when he's playing well, whether it was the playoff run, right now, different parts of the last 2 seasons. So to see him put up these performances in that shootout win to go perfect against the Bruins, and that's not easy. The Bruins are a great team, and to be able to beat them in a shootout, I likened that game to the game that the Kraken played last year against the Bruins. And there's I almost said City Connect jerseys. Again, being at the facility, it feels a lot like the Mariners name is just in my head a lot. But that last year, with the reverse retros on, that game that was so tight, so well, it was a great game, all things considered. To shut out the Penguins was big. They haven't had the year that they wanted to, but they still got a lot of talent. And then the Oilers game, the Oilers have historically had Philip Grubauer's number, and to perform as well as he did in this one, again, I'm not taking a lot of fault here in that loss against him, rather the lack of converting under chances for the Kraken. So he's our player of the week, at least for me. It'll be interesting to see when Joey gets back in. Obviously, with the back-to-back, he'll probably have to play, by the time you're seeing this, tomorrow against the Winnipeg Jets, but I digress. So that's our player of the week.
So you just heard about Groovy. I'll quickly touch on it as we try to get through this. Um, it's been tough. This team's played well. They haven't gotten the bounces throughout the course of the season, like we saw in that Edmonton game. They've been hurt for most of the year. Andre Burakovsky missed 2 of the games over the past week, so it's been tough. But like I'm about to say, Backlots and me had some more thoughts. Um, I think the team sells a few pieces, so we'll go into that other piece from the Backlots, right? So that's what we've got for the Kraken. They sit at a 27, 23, and 11 record overall. They'll play 2 games against the Winnipeg Jets this upcoming week. The first of them is the second game of a back-to-back following that Winnipeg Jets game. That Calgary Flames game. March 5th at the Jets is a 5 o'clock start. Then March 8th versus the Jets is a 7 o'clock start. That's the second game of the 2 over the course of this week. And Seattle, after dealing with all this stuff with the trade deadline that's coming and will likely come by the time this game comes, when the actual trade deadline is, they'll have to play one of the best teams in the entire NHL twice over the course of just a few days. So it's not the most fun for the Kraken, but they don't really get much choice or much say, and they didn't really put themselves in a better position to be able to withstand this. So they really can't blame anybody, sadly, except for themselves. So that's what we've got when it comes to Kraken.